What if the fastest way to attract clients isn't another social media post, but a speaking gig? Well, in this episode, I'm joined by beautiful speaking coach Leisa Reid, who's going to share how you can use speaking to build trust, grow your audience, and fill your business with beautiful, aligned clients.
Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Inner Business Podcast. I'm a little excited because my new friend Leisa is here. Hi, Leisa.
Hello.
I met Leisa recently, and as you all know, I love to talk. I love a stage. And so Leisa and I are getting on famously because Leisa is a coach who specializes in helping you get more speaking gigs. But like me, she is also someone who likes to explore what's really going on for you in that process of getting more gigs. And let's be honest, standing on a stage in front of people speaking is quite the vulnerable process, isn't it, Leisa? So she likes to all that comes up. So if you are someone who would love to have a bigger voice out there, keep listening because Leisa is your gal. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, Leisa.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be on the show. I think it'd be dangerous if we lived really close to each other. So it's good they kept us 2 continents away from each other. We would have so much fun. So my name's Leisa Reid. I'm the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now and the CEO of the International Speaker Network. I live in sunny, beautiful Orange County, California. I grew up in Fairbanks, Alaska, which is the opposite of sunny. Well, it's sunny and sometimes it's sunny, but I've been in like really, really, really cold, dark weather most of my childhood. And so I love living in California. I love having it pretty much nice nearly every day of the year. I never get tired of that. And I love working with entrepreneurs who have a dream to speak. It's never too late. You're never too young. You're not too old. It's not too anything. You can do it. And I'm here just to champion people who dream of doing it, but just haven't done it yet.
And I love that because I love speaking on stages, but I know that many people find that idea quite terrifying. However, they know as they build their business that visibility is really, really important. Like, obviously, you could have the best product in the world, but if you're not talking about who you are and what you do, then no one's going to find that product. And so speaking is something that a lot of people lean into. I've particularly spotted that in the US market. You know, we're often in network meetings and everybody's like, I want to be on your podcast and, you know, I want to be on more stages and there's summits popping out of everywhere and everything. I'd love to get from your experience, like, why do people come to you? Are they coming to you because they feel they have to get up on the stage and they don't really want to, but they feel they have to, and there's a whole big piece of work there? Are they coming with this idea that they're on the stage and that's it, it'll all be done? Like, talk to us about what's going on.
I usually don't have people who are scared of it. Not that they don't have a little intrepidation or anything like that. That's fine. Yeah. But I don't usually have people come to me who have a, real fear of speaking. They usually run the other way when they hear what I do. They're like, "Oh God, I hope she doesn't talk to me." But but I know, because I've been work with thousands of speakers at this point, I know that there is something that we all share. It's like a certain oxygen that we all like to breathe. And there is nothing more exhilarating than being on stage and killing it. You know what I mean? And just you're connecting, you're vibing, you're in your flow, you're talking to people, you're sharing your ideas, they're loving it. And it feels so good. And for the people who love that feeling, they've had that feeling, or they can imagine that they've had that feeling. They're like, I know I would do really well up there. Or they had it once, but then they don't know how to replicate it. And like, I have one client, she's in her 70s, and she's like, if I don't do this now, when am I going to do it? I've been wanting to do this since I was a child. And she just, life takes us on different paths. And so for me, it's really that inner knowing I need to be doing this. I should be doing this. I should be up there. I see that person speaking. I can do a better job. Like, I have plenty of that I can share. And those are the common confessions that I'll get when we're chatting initially.
Yeah. Awesome. So do people come to you? Let me reframe that. Why do people come to you in relation to business and speaking? Is it because they want to have a business speaking? or is it part of a wider plan?
Definitely part of a wider plan. In fact, I'll tell them straight up, if you only want to speak like, and that you want to be a full-time keynote speaker and that's all you want to do, and you have no services or products or anything else that you want to offer, I'm probably not your person. Like, it's not that I couldn't help you at all, but there's people who specialize in that. And that'd be more like a keynote speaking route. That's it. You want to be a full-time speaker as your job, your career, your thing. I have clients who are keynote speakers, but they're doing it alongside their business. They're using keynote speaking or other types of speaking as a way to like build their lead generation, attract their ideal clients. I would say, like, we didn't become entrepreneurs to beg for clients, right? And I see so many people are like, I'm sliding into their DMs or like knocking on people's doors. Like, I don't know what they're doing to get clients, but they're like run dry. The well has runneth dry. And I have never had that experience as a speaker because I'm always meeting new people. And, my clients are always meeting new people, always getting exposed to different audiences from now all over the world. Since COVID, there's no borders anymore. You can speak all over the place, all over the world. And the people who are attracted to you, picking up what you're throwing down, they'll self-select and they'll jump into your freebie or your schedule something on your calendar or buy your item that you're selling or your service that you're offering.
And I love that idea of the attraction, because it is about that. For me, I find my easiest way to find clients is to speak, connect, and just be me. And I get into trouble because, like, on LinkedIn, you'll often see posts like, should we use emojis in our emails? And I'm like, well, I do. Because if my client turns up and expects me to be very serious and not use emojis, they're going to have a shock when they work with me, because that's just not my energy. Like, I attract a particular fabulous kind of human to work with me. So I guess that would be one of the big benefits of learning these skills and having a captive audience there to throw that energy out at, and honing what that energy needs to be for you to feel good and for your audience to connect with it. We all know that I'm in the business of that. I love that golden thread. I call it the golden thread that weaves through our business is our purpose, our drive, our sparkle, and I think that's what you're really good at helping people find. What would you say are the top 3 benefits of popping speaking gigs and learning this skill for a business? I mean, I think that's 1, so we're going to discount that one. That's my favorite one.
I only have 2. I only have to come up with 2 now. Okay.
No, you still have to come up with 3. No. I mean,
now I have to come up with 4 for being a smarty pants. Okay. So I think number 1 is it's an even playing field. Like, I happen to have a bachelor's and master's degree in speech communication, but that was when I was in my 20s. That is not required to be a speaker. It just happens to be. I mean, it's no accident that I end up helping people with speaking, but you don't have to have any degrees, 0 degrees to do this. You need to have, willingness and courage and something of value to a certain audience, of course. That's like the bare minimum, right? And I think a lot of people can do that. So it's not, you don't have to have fancy funnels and software and all these things. You can literally open up your business and go, okay, if I'm opening up a bit, let's say you're a life coach, your life coach business, you've got certified. There's a reason you became certified. There's a reason you want to help people. You could create a talk based on what you just learned and who your first client was, and go out there and get clients from that just day one. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I know you said to come up with 3, but I kind of went on a little diatribe there. There's probably like 10 or so benefits just in that statement.
I know. Stop overachieving. So rude. I love that. You're right. And I think one of the things that I learned on my business journey in my previous business was I built something that had a massive amount of systems, because it was my previous business was a software as a service company. So I ended up not speaking to many humans as a CEO of that. It was all run. It was software, and you logged in and you signed up and blah, 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 blah. And I hated that. That's why in the end I gave it up, because I am a people person. And one of the things that I learned, or the big lessons there, was relationships and that exchange of energy is really important to scaling. Whether you are 6 figures trying to get to 7, whether you've got 5,000 customers and you want to get to 10,000 or 20,000, whether you're trying to find your first 5 clients, if you can show up as you and share that energy, then you're right. You can definitely find those clients more easily than if you're just, creating a great sales funnel and a great email follow-up and your messaging is spot on. Like, that's all great, but you actually have to speak that into being. It has to be shown. Like, number of clients that I've had who have paid a lot of money for a website, then it's one of those really pretty useless websites. It looks great but doesn't say much. And then they'll come and work with me and we'll get the messaging right. And then I'll check in with them only to discover that they haven't shown anyone that website or sent anyone to that website. And so that's where this piece of the puzzle will come in. Being able to take that message, stand on a stage, stand in a group situation and share it. And then, of course, direct people to the website. And we were talking earlier, weren't we, Leisa, about how often people will feel that the key thing is to get the talk done, and that's that. And they're not thinking about it strategically. So it's one thing to rock up and share 5 reasons to love baby goats. I mean, obviously that would be a top TED talk. But if you are a goat farmer, at the end of that talk, there should be an ask. Like, it's totally okay. In fact, it's necessary to do what I tell my clients to do, which is to sell from the stage. It's about being able to reframe that talk into you solving a problem for someone. The whole talk is there to give them value, right? We're all here on a mission to serve. So your entire talk about baby goats, I don't know why I picked that because they're cute probably, is to help someone understand the power of baby goats. And maybe at the end of that, you want them to come visit your baby goats at your farm and bring their family. I don't know. But there's got to be an exchange in there. And I'm curious about how many people know that when they start working with you and what is coming up for them when you share that with them.
Most people don't think of that. They put a lot of their energy into the content, thinking I have to really deliver this content. It's got this amazing, I got to make this thing's amazing and perfection. And I say, the first slide I'm going to look at is the last one. So all the things that you have in front of it, I already know. If you're coming to me, I already know you are wanting to make an impact. You're purpose driven, you're heart centered, you're a giver, you're generous. Like, I have no doubt that the people who I work with are going to leave it all on the stage and just give to the audience. But just like in anything, we also need to have it come back. The talk has to have balance. So when you're giving, and you're not allowing the audience to give back to you, it's not balanced. It's out of balance. Conversely, if you're just selling and not giving to the audience, it's out of balance. We know how that feels, right? We've all felt that. So it's kind of like the opposite side. And I often tell people their receiving muscle is an atrophy. Like, we almost forgot how to receive. And so we block it, and how it shows up. And these are the big mistakes I'll see people make is don't give an offer at all. Forget to give an offer. Like, they had it, but they forgot to do it. Or it was really confusing and vague and kind of like, oh, reach out to me if you want my card, or you can find me on go to my website. I'm like, no, strike. Absolutely not on my watch. Absolutely not. So the people who work with me know, like, I would just leap out of my skin if I saw that any of them do that.
Well, you have to plan for it, right?
You have to plan for it. And you have to, and I say, if anything, when, like, I'll help people, I call it get your talk ready to rock. So we'll do this session and I go, we're actually the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. So we are starting with your call to action first, because it's almost like if I signed up on a tour, like I signed up for this tour to go kiss dolphins, but then I ended up at a volcano, I would be upset because I did not sign up for the volcano tour. I signed up for the dolphin tour. So we need to make sure, just like you're talking about the golden thread, like, where's the thread end? And then back everything, which you already know all this, you know this, we're talking for the listeners here, but like, it has to make sense. It can't just be out of left field. So we need to know where we're taking them on the tour, and then
backwards by design. We used to call that when I was a teacher. What is
reverse
the objective? Reverse engineering. There's a million different ways to say it.
Yeah.
But it's really, really important. And I was giggling when you were talking about the vague things, because I mean, even as a teacher, we used to do that. At the end of the lesson, we go, oh, yeah, you learned a thing. What did you learn? We just randomly check. And the most important part, which is consolidating what they've taken away and what the next step is, that has to be the priority. What is it that you've taken away, and was it good? And are you going to take the next step? And I'm not saying you stand on the stage and go, hey, what did you learn? Did you like that? Come work with me. That's creepy. But what I am saying is we can structure that in. And so, like, I've seen trends like a giant QR code on the last slide, and no one says anything. They just go, that's no good. No. Because then we've got a big weird thing and no connection.
I like to joke about my giant QR code. It's because it's so big, but there's other stuff on there and I do talk about it. But I'll even say, oh my gosh, can you find this QR code? I don't think it's, I should make it bigger. Because what drives me nuts is the little, especially if I'm somewhere in person and I'm far away from the stage and the code is so tiny, and I'm like trying to navigate my phone, and by the time I'm 52, I'm like, by the time I've lined up the phone to get the QR code and hit the button and then restarted it, they're on the next slide. I'm like, no, wait, go back. So I'm like, that's not gonna.
I hear you, and there's nothing wrong with the QR code. But
I get if it's just blank and it says nothing, that's not going to do any good.
Because you've got to put yourself out there, right? You've got to be able to do the ask. And I think a lot of us, like you've just said, are more than happy to just give. And then I love that the receivership is in atrophy. Yes. And the cycle of energy has to go round. Like you can't give and not receive. That's a block. Don't do it.
I think another piece of it is, and this isn't really talked about too much in entrepreneurialism, is the lack of sales training. Like I was trained in sales. I mean, I started selling when I was a teenager, and then I would listen to the tapes, and then I'd listen to the CDs, and I would go, and I had years of sales jobs and things like that. I didn't realize how much that was going to affect my work ethic in sales and my ability to make offers, not just from the stage, but also from, prospective clients. Huge. It's huge. And if you're a person who decides to become a life coach or whatever, any fill in the blank entrepreneur title, but you've never sold before, it could be crippling, like so terrifying.
Let's just put this on top of each other now, because I'm just seeing how big your role is. So your role is to help people stand in front of lots of people and speak, which is quite scary. Plus sell, which is quite scary. And create a really functional, inspirational narrative, which is quite hard. So that's a lot going on, Leisa, isn't it?
It is, and it's one of my superpowers. What can I say? I love it. I can see different trends. I like when I work with someone, I know you probably have this too. I can hear what they're not saying. I can see what they're not seeing. I can feel what they're not like expressing necessarily. Yes. So when we're having our session, I'm looking through all those pieces just all at the same time. And I'm taking notes of what they're saying. And I'm noticing how they feel about it, where their excitement level is, where they're dipping, where they're up. And all of a sudden we'll get there. Like we'll get to, and I always say it's not, I go, this is really organic. It's not like I can make it happen, but there's going to be a point where we're going to go, that's it. That's the thing that you should be speaking about. Like we just nailed it. And so that's what we're looking for. Like this special stamp that you put in the world that nobody else is talking about. That's what we want to hear.
I love that. And I call that sensory acuity.
Oh,
I talked about that recently at a workshop I was running. We were doing goal setting, and I got all of my clients looking at each other. We were doing a group coaching session, and I'm like, right, read your goal to me. And you read your business goal, and it's like, by the end of Q3, I will have made I'm like, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. If you were like, by the end of this term, at the end of this quarter, I'm going to have 5K in the bag. I'm going to see the turtles because I bought myself a holiday. Now I believe you. That sensory acuity, because if you're walking into any situation not really feeling it, why would you put the energy behind it to make that thing happen? So I'm guessing that's exactly what's going on. And I can imagine, I'd love you to talk on this topic. Do people come to you with the topic that they think they're going to talk about. And then that's not really it, because they're picking a thing that they think other people want to hear. They haven't quite connected with their secret sauce yet.
Yes, a million times. Yes. And so what I'll say is oh, that's awesome. Bring that. We're going to put that in the parking lot. We're just going to see what else comes up. Let's just see. But we could go back to that. That's fine. We're going to, or you know what, worst case scenario, you have 2 talks, which is even better. So, but yeah, once they realize, they get to the heart of the matter and they actually circle in and like, oh, this is what I want to talk about, they would just probably never look at that other talk again. And if somebody comes to me and says, this is the killer question that I just can't with this question. Well, Leisa, what does the marketplace want to hear?
Oh,
I'm like, I have no idea.
The marketplace?
I don't know the marketplace. Who is the marketplace?
All of the people in the marketplace have got one.
I have not,
but you know what?
I have not asked every single person in the world what they want to hear.
And we're being really cruel here. That's a bit, we're being a bit judgmental. But you know what? I can understand why that question would
I don't think it's
up.
judgmental.
You don't? Okay.
No, because here's why. It's not because they don't, it's from fear. I don't judge them for saying that. I'm just saying like, oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that, because we're going to completely transform the way we think about this. I go, what if we didn't consider what the marketplace wanted? What if we went, what is not being said that I am ready to take a stand for and put my stake in the ground? And that is so much more empowering place to be than I don't know what they want. No, I don't care what they want. Like
that's cause and effect thing again, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak about that because I'm not sure. I need to know what they want. Then that'll make me feel safer because I'm giving them what they want. It's the whole the pattern I used to have, you know, the yes girl. What do you need? Never mind what I need. What do you need? Isn't it funny?
And we're as women trained to do that too. It's like, no.
Yeah. The inner work shows up again in a business. So, you know, like it shows up everywhere. We do constantly do this to ourselves. Well, and it also feels quite armored. Well, what do the rest of the world want? It's quite an armored way. It's a protection mechanism, isn't it? Rather than, hey, I'm really passionate about baby goats. And look, and we're laughing, but there is probably a whole space for my talk on baby goats.
There probably is, and we were just about to get our minds blown. Yeah.
I'm gonna make
and
baby goats.
Also, just I mean, I have my doubts too. It's not like, or I'm sure you do too. It's not like, oh, we're cured and we never have any doubtful thoughts or times I'll speak for myself, times that I've shrank or times that I've doubted myself, like, oh gosh, should I do this or should I not do that or whatever. But, you know, got to face it, do the work. What am I here standing for? How can I best be of service? What was I meant to do here on this planet in this lifetime? How can I help the most people make the biggest impact? And that's then what keeps me going.
Look, Leisa, that's exactly what I love. I'm not going to say I love the pain and discomfort, but I love noticing it and then learning from it, because we cannot grow as humans, as business owners, as people, as entities on earth without that discomfort and noticing it. And of course, we all have moments like that. Like I actually applied to do a TED talk this year and I wasn't.
Yeah, that's scary, right?
I did it and I was really proud of myself because I applied. I did the application and I did the video and I wasn't selected. That's okay. But now, because I took that leap, I can go along to the TED talk, I can meet the people and I can find out what I need to know to take the next step. So you mentioned perfection earlier. Perfection is a real block, isn't it? Because there is no such thing as perfection. And, you know, if we can strive to be a little bit better every time and not worry about perfection and see the whole thing as a bit of a learning game, then we will get where we're going eventually. And of course, with guides on the side like yourself, who've got experience, who can help us skip a few points that, you know, that would be great so that we don't have to start right at the bottom. That's the whole point of us as coaches and guides, right? But I love that idea of, you know, putting yourself out there, feeling into that discomfort and having someone like yourself, a coach, to go, I actually noticed this. What's that about? Like one of the things I used to do, let's talk to this. One of the things I used to do, and I've got rid of it now, I did a bit of NLP to remove it, was while I was talking, I'm really good at business pitching. I've won lots of pitching competitions and things. I love doing that. I love talking about business. Surprise. And I love it. I love constructing them. I love standing there and sharing. I love painting the vision, sharing my passion, love it. But the whole time I'm on that stage winning awards, there's a voice in my head going, look at that person over there looking at you, they're so bored. Look at them, they're really
Wait, what was it? I couldn't hear.
Look at that person over there staring at you, they're so bored. I can't believe you just said that. Did you just say that? Oh my God. And like there was this voice in my head critiquing every word. It was exhausting. So I'm trying on the outside to be yay, and on the inside I'm like, is that just me? It might just be me. But that kind of psyche, that part of me that was really uncomfortable that I was doing this and putting myself on that stage was really keen to just smash me down. It took me a while to work out that. Have you ever had clients like that, or am I unique?
Yeah, clients like that, and also just, I can relate personally to that. And I'm a huge fan of what I call it speaker's kryptonite. And so it's like identifying that voice, I think is so, I love that you heard it, right?
Yes.
I love that it was there for however long without being heard. And then on one day you clicked and you're like, I hear that voice. I hear you, whatever part of,
I see you.
That is,
I see you.
And yeah. And so I equate it to like, when you're a little kid and you think there's a monster under the bed or, behind the door or whatever. And I'm like, at one point, just get out of bed, flip the covers up and look at it straight in and then you're like, oh, you're not even scary. Like you have all this, I had all in my mind that you had all this power, but you're just like my slippers under the bed, or you're a bathroom, or you're nothing. Like there's nothing there. And had myself. So I'm a big fan of like facing it, like facing that voice, facing that part of me, right? It's all of us. Yes. We're all there. All of us are in there. Like facing, what does that part of me need me to acknowledge, hear, understand, be soothed, or be told to just shut it? I like what conversation needs to be had.
As an NLP practitioner and someone who's had years of NLP therapy too, I find it really hard because I get really cross with those parts. I get really angry, but they're actually trying to protect me. So I've learned over the years that I actually have to allow myself to be compassionate rather than just like, because the more angry I get with them, the more loud they get. It's like a toddler tantruming, like, I'm going to make you really scared now. Ha! You're not listening. So like, you're absolutely right. Doing that inner work of, okay, why is there a voice trying to tell me to worry about what that person over there who I've never met in my life is thinking about me right now? Why is that important to me in this moment on this stage? What is going on? Yeah. And what does that reveal about me? I think the act of any kind of performance or any kind of speaking is so vulnerable that it is going to trigger some stuff for people. It's a beautiful healing process if you allow it to be, And I guess you kind of need to let it be, because until I healed that part, I couldn't fully stand on that stage in my full energy, attracting my clients, could I?
It really does make you step up, because you know how like we're not even talking about social media, but like sometimes people will worry, oh, no one liked my post or no one commented or whatever, only this many people saw it, blah, blah, blah. Well, wait till you're on stage and you get no response, no one signs up for anything. No one calls you, no one, whatever. Has that happened to me? Yeah. Is it probably going to happen to me again? Yeah. And that's okay, because I still go on and do it anyway. Like next, moving on, and you develop that muscle. You have to, as an entrepreneur, you have got to have that next attitude in some respects. Like you just learn, move on, learn, move on, learn, move on, and keep going. It's not just with speaking. It's kind of funny. People think, I think they think of like, well, I want to speak on this one stage and speak on this thing and do this thing. And I think they're thinking of it as just this one thing. And I'm like, I speak like 40 times a year for the past over 10 years. More than that, but just, it's a constant. And so when you do it more often, just like anything else, you get better at it, you move forward. I've had some people tell me like, well, I can't do anything because I have a speaking engagement that day. And I'm like, I have like 3 that day. Like,
You pro.
Well, okay. I mean, we want to get
Yes.
normalize, and so that you can just constantly be in front of other people. And I don't mean you need to have 40 talks a year. Most
That's what
healthy
you want.
diets, like 24 a year, maybe twice a month. And I'm talking virtual too. So you don't have to leave your
Yeah.
house, but that'll keep you busy. And I mean, enough where you've got leads coming in, always adding to your email list, getting people on your
Yes.
calendar, trying
Yes.
your
You see
different
what Lisa's saying here?
products and
She's not
services.
saying,
Yeah.
let's just talk. She's saying enough so you've got leads coming in.
Yeah. We're not
Getting
just doing it for,
calendar, email lists growing, right? It's a
yes.
strategy in a business.
Yes.
So this is it.
Yes.
We want to use Lisa's tools and techniques as part of our toolkit for our business growth and development. Another thing that I love about when I speak, particularly I love panels. One of my favorite things is
Mm.
panels, because when you're on a panel and you have other speakers with you reflecting on the same question, you learn an awful lot that you can take back to your business for product development or other ideas like that. I love listening just as much as I like speaking, listening to what the audience are talking about at a conference where you're a speaker, so they're all in the same kind of niche market. You can learn a lot from your potential new clients by listening as much as you can speaking in those gigs too. So I don't know, would you agree with that as well? Do you like a good panel?
I will speak, in a boat with a goat and all that, in the box of the fox and the house of the mouse and all that. But a panel is probably not my favorite venue. I enjoy
Ah,
it, but
yeah,
I would
yeah.
rather just,
You want the stage to
do
yourself?
my
Fair
thing
enough.
here
I love it.
it's probably because it's not that I don't enjoy listening. It's that I'm kind of a little bit of a stickler for time and timing. And I've been
Ah,
speaking so
yes.
long, I have an idea of how long 1 minute is or 2 minutes. And I think with the panel, it's a little, you're opening up the floodgates to potential people who talk a
Chaos.
lot longer than they think that they're talking.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so
Just being
I love
honest.
it. No, I get that. I just love, and you know what? That's fine. You can just listen and go, that's an interesting thought. I might borrow that
Hmm.
thought and expand on it later. It's good. It's good. Well, so far then we've touched on how speaking is a part of a business strategy, not just, hey, I want to be on your YouTube podcast like we're doing now. This is part of a
Yeah.
strategy for both of us, just so you know. And also, or I just want to be a keynote, or the fear of I need to have this perfect before I can even submit an application to speak. We've talked about speakers kryptonite, and I shared a bit of my personal kryptonite story. Like just because people do see me as a very confident speaker, but that's because I'm very, very good at masking, or I was very, very good at masking. And having been a teacher for a very long time, you get very good at being calm on the outside and going, oh my God, on the inside, what's just happened? Especially in teaching teenagers. So that's something I would recommend everyone try if you want to be cool, calm, and collected in a crisis. Become a teacher. But yeah, like what would you say would be something that our listeners could do straight away, help position speaking as a strategy that works effectively in their business, or help them to understand speaking in a little bit more of a holistic way? It's not just about rungs on the ladder or numbers of things, places I've spoken at, is it? What would be your
No, yeah, it's really about identifying where your people are. Like I had a client who was a former accountant, and when we met, she was speaking and was just about to give up because it wasn't creating the results that she wanted. And she thought, I thought speaking was supposed to bring me clients. Like, why is this not working? I'm like, well, let's take a look.
yeah?
And the cool thing is she was an accountant turned life coach. And so she was speaking to accounting organizations, which is smart. I was like, okay, we're speaking to the right people because she knew their troubles, their obstacles,
Mm.
their, what they were dealing with, their stresses and things like that. And she had ways to serve that population. And so once we took a look at what she was talking about and made some tweaks, she was able to then turn that into clients. But she was so close. She was so close to the gold, like just about to give up. And when we're speaking with the right message, with the right offer to the right room, it doesn't matter how many people are in the room. Then all of a sudden you can use that tactic over and over and over again. My first talk that I gave when I became a speaker was to a room of 10 people. I called someone. So this is a tip for, so you asked for a tip for the listeners. I called up somebody I knew. I already had a talk created. I had an offer. She did not know it was my first talk, bless her heart. And I said, do you know anyone who invites outside speakers to come speak? She said, well, actually, I have an opportunity. Would you like to speak there? I said, sure. 10 women in the room, all leaders in their business. And my offer was a 300, just to keep it short, a $300 workshop in person weekend. And 3 of the women signed up. So that's $900 in sales right there. And 2 of them went on to spend tens of thousands of dollars with this company because I was representing a company when I was speaking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and that changed their life significantly. The work that they did brought them massive change in their life. So it's not just the speaking gig. It's what benefits are people going to have by continuing that relationship with you, working with you. And you don't have to, I share that as that was my first talk. Like,
well done.
I was ignorance on fire. You know what I mean?
I think you had some skills though, based on the qualifications and the experience. So we'll give you that. But what I love what you said there. The 3 things you said: the right offer, the right room, and the right people. You know, like you didn't even mention the right talk. It's really funny, and I love that because the talk is kind of the offer, right? Because and I'm not
providing value, right?
Yeah, but not going back to that. It's not like you're selling like the entire time. You've got to give value. The talk is here's a thought. I love to open curious loops in my talks and go and show some possibilities and intrigue people enough that they want to come and talk to me some more. You know, like, and that is the key. You know, you've got to have an offer. So when you're looking at your speaking, I want you to ask, like, what am I going to offer these people to continue this relationship, seeing this speaking gig as an introduction to you, or, you know, an introduction to what you're going to be offering them, seeing these people as people who need your help. So you're spending some time showing them what you know and how you can help, so they can choose to journey with you further. Something along those lines, I'm guessing. Yeah, I love that. And the right room is really important with the right people, because I can imagine, like, going back to your accountant story, you know, that was perfect because that's their niche and that's who they know and who they understand. And so it's like anything, you've got to tweak to transform. That's another lovely old teaching phrase.
Oh, I like that.
You know, tweak to transform, because you can't just assume. If you're assuming you're the problem, that's the easy way out. That is definitely a you thing. You're deciding that you're not enough. Or another thing I see my clients do all the time with product is they'll just write another course. They'll completely abandon the one they've just spent 6 months on because they've decided nobody wants it. But they haven't looked at the other cogs, which is what you're talking about. What if the talk is great, but you've got the wrong people? What if the offer isn't right, but the talk is great and the room is wrong? And again,
usually
coaches
when someone tells me it's not working, when someone says, I just want paid speaking gigs, I'm tired of speaking for free, I'm like, oh, that tells me a lot. What that tells me is that they've done a lot and they're not monetizing their talks, even if they're paid or not paid. And that means something's broken. And they could be making way more money if they fix that piece versus a speaker fee. Like, I just got off the call with a gentleman who, his client, if he retains one client, it's a 6-figure deal. I said, well, and he kept saying he wants paid speaking engagements. I said, well, would you rather have one client or the paid speaking fee? And he's like, well, I'd rather have the one client. I'm like, yeah. So what are we?
So we go back to cost of customer acquisition. How much does it cost you to get that client versus you spending 30 minutes on a stage plus a couple of hours prepping? Oh, the math.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And this is it, like being able to see it through these different lenses. And then appearing on stage without resentment because you've decided, not being paid again, you know, like, but, you know, I've also had people ask me to speak internationally and want me to cover the cost of my flight and all sorts of things. And I'm like, right, well, then we really need to make sure the math.
That's
and, you know, another thing you have to ask is like, okay, You want me to come and do all of that? I need stats and figures from you. Who's coming? How many people are coming? Who's in the audience? Because that's how you evaluate if it's the right room, the right people, and whether your offer has a good chance of landing.
Yeah, I think I there's a lot of times I wish I could kind of jump in front of, the speeding train or whatever for different clients, because there's so many things out there that will promise the world, and then you get there and it's like six people and a cat, in the room, and you've spent all this money, and I see people spend so much money on one speaking engagement. I'm like, you could have paid that to me and we would have gotten you speaking engagements for life. Not one.
Yes.
One is nothing. One is, you could sneeze and get one speaking engagement. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars to do that, especially if you're a new speaker. I get real like protective about that. Like, as a new speaker, I do not think you should be paying to speak, whether it's paid travel or whatever. You got to get your proof of concept, get your, foundation set. There's plenty of ways to get speaking engagements that you do not have to pay for. And then when you have that proof of concept and you really enjoy traveling and you really enjoy, that's part of your model, knock yourself out, go for it. But we want to just be smart. We want to be smart.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like you did when you
I
asked all the
love that.
questions.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta know what it is that you're investing in and the value of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm not against pay to play. I'm just,
and sometimes that investment is good, like
Yes,
it is
yes.
good because it's like an advertising fee. Sometimes it's cheaper to do
Yeah.
that than it is to pay for a Google ad that you've got no control over.
right.
or
But like you said, we want to just
billboard.
have our,
But at the right stage, or with the right room, with the right people, with you as a
Exactly.
speaker, definitely going to knock it out the park. You've got to have a return on your investment, an ROI. For
Yes.
those things.
yes.
Business, simple business. I love this. These are amazing tips. I love our conversation as always. And I know that you have a freebie over on your website, which is getspeakinggigsnow.com. And is it /tips that they can go get?
Yes, ma'am.
What can they expect?
Yes,
from you?
if you would like 5 top tips to get more speaking gigs now, it's available on getspeakinggigsnow.com/tips, and knock yourself out. They're free, and just continue getting some more goodies from us.
Yeah, and do connect with Leisa because she's beautiful, generous, and very wise, as you can hear, and a lot of fun. So, yeah, and that's her book behind her as well. So you can.
What? How did that get there?
What? It's not a giant QR code. Let's be careful. No. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Leisa. I just love the work that you do because it is just like my work, not just about the speaking. It's about the whole person, about allowing them to step fully into their power, to step fully into that voice and opening that chakra and being able to speak their truth in a way that resonates. And that's powerful work, my friend. So
Thank you. Aw, thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime. And everyone watching this show or listening over on the podcast software, we will put all the links to Leisa in the descriptions. And if you head over to YouTube, we'll make sure that link goes straight there so you can go grab those tips from Leisa and connect with her.